Can you see the screen, all of you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, yes.
So we are discussing this verse. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Idam te guhyatamam pravaksha mi anusuyave jnanam vijnanam sahitam yagyatva mokshase shubhat. Yes. So now read this one, this paragraph. We have done that, but when we have read it before, but can you read once? Somebody can read.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Now this first verse has specific significance. The words idam jnanam, this knowledge, refer to pure devotional service, which consists of 9 different activities: hearing, chanting, remembering, serving, worshipping, praying, obeying, and maintaining friendship and surrendering everything. By the practice of these 9 elements of devotional service, one is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When one's heart is thus cleared of material contamination, one can understand this science of Krishna. Simply to understand that a living entity is not material is not significant. That may be a beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and the spiritual activities of one who understands that he is not the body.
Yes. So here is saying idam jnanam, this knowledge, that refers to pure devotional service. No? So the verse it comes, idam jnanam. Idam te guhyatamam pravakshyami jnanam vijnanam sahitam. So this jnanam is actually pure devotional service. And this consists of 9 different activities. So this is mentioned in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Pada Sevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. This is mentioned in the 7th canto. Srila Prahlad Maharaj, he says this. So it's called 9-fold devotional service. So this is essentially the knowledge. This knowledge means pure devotional service. Like that. And the practice of these 9 elements of devotional service when is elevated to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. So somebody has to somebody has to speculate about what is devotional service. It's clearly mentioned. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Padasavanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasam, Sakhyam Atmanivedanam. So, and it begins with Shravanam and Kirtanam, hearing and chanting. There is a nice verse in Chaitanya Bhagavat says, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga Dhana, Bhakti Krishna Nama Smarana Krandana. Bhakti Krishna Nama Smarana Krandana. So by remembering Krishna, by crying out Krishna's name, remembering Krishna, this is all the essence of Bhakti Yoga. And also, the golden rule of Bhakti is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. So when you engage in any of this devotional service, 9-fold devotional service, any of them, then you can actually remember Krishna. By any of this process of devotional service. The essence is to remember Krishna. Of course, remembering itself is one of the limb, but the bhakti means that you are always remembering the Lord and you're serving the Lord. So always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That's the golden rule of bhakti. So by practice of these 9 elements of devotional service is related to spiritual consciousness, Krishna consciousness. When one's heart is just cleared of material contamination, one can understand the science of Krishna. Nashta prayeshu bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Bhagavate much. So when you hear and chant about the Lord, then what happens? Lord abhadras, all the inauspicious things which is material contamination, that the heart gets cleared off. And then evam prasannaman, so yoga prayer. So actually, then your heart becomes clear, and then gradually you can see how you become more and more fixed in devotional service. You become more and more Krishna conscious. So one gets elevated. And one can understand the science of Krishna consciousness more easily, very nicely. So simply to understand that a living entity is not material, is not sufficient. Many people know that they are not the body, the soul. That may be the beginning of spiritual realization. It's the beginning. But one should recognize the difference between activities of the body and the spiritual activities of one who understands that he is not the body. So simply saying that, I'm not this body, I'm soul. One should also understand that he's not this material body, of course, but also he is servant of Krishna. So that positive aspect also should be clear. Just like I'm not, say somebody thinks that I'm the student of Northeast. That is good. You know that. But that's not sufficient. You have to also know that you have to also be acting on that platform. Correct? You should also be acting on that. That means you should be going to the college, you should be studying, should be something, writing the assignments and submitting it, appearing for the exams, So all that you should do. You should be acting also on that platform. Same way, if you only say that I am spirit soul, that's not sufficient. You should also act on the platform of spirit soul. So that means that then you should know your identity, that you are servant of Krishna clearly, and then only you can act on that fact. So many times impersonally they only this talk about aham brahmasmi, they will say, but they don't act on that fact because they don't have any understanding about how they are servant of Krishna. That they don't know. So then their spiritual life is incomplete. So it's a problem with Jnanis, impersonalist. So saying that means beginning of spiritual realization, but one should recognize the difference between the activities of the body and the spiritual activities of one who understands that he is not the body. Like I am the another way I can say that I am the student. So I am the student is not sufficient. One should know you are the student of which college, which measure, and what all you duties, everything you should know. So very beginning is stages. Okay, I'm not the body, I'm soul. That's only beginning. In the 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the. Okay, next somebody can read. Karthik, would you like to read?
Sorry, I'm in the car, so I cannot listen. I can't
Okay,
read.
no problem. Jacob, you can read in the 7th chapter.
In the 7th chapter, we have already discussed the opulent potency of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his different energies, the inferior and superior natures, and all this material manifestation. Now, in chapter 9, the glories of the Lord will be delineated.
The glories of the Lord will further reveal. Okay, now. Next, you can read. Arya Prabhu, you can read next.
Hare Krishna, I'm also in the car.
Okay. Yes, I'm also in the bodily car. I'm the soul sitting in this bodily car. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Okay, Jaggi, you can read. Go ahead.
The Sanskrit word anas suyave in the verse is also very significant. Generally, the commentators, even if they are highly scholarly, are all envious of Krishna,
Are all envious of
the
Krishna?
Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yes.
Even the most erudite scholars write on Bhagavata Gita very inaccurately because they are envious of Krishna. Their commentaries are useless. The commentaries given by devotees of the Lord are bona fide. No one can explain Bhagavad Gita or give perfect knowledge of Krishna if he is envious. One who criticizes the character of Krishna without knowing him is a fool. So, such commentaries should be very carefully avoided. For one who understands that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality, these chapters will be very beneficial.
Yeah. So one should clear off all his doubts about Krishna. One should not have any misunderstanding about Krishna's position. Then only Gita learning will be effective. So, of course, by reading Gita also one will be able to understand properly the position of Krishna. But still, it is important that one should be very careful not to get into some commentaries which are misinterpretations, because the imports of the Bhagavad Gita also will not then come out. Because they will, it's like suppose sun is there, and now the commentaries which are not bona fide, those are envious of Krishna, they don't have understanding of Krishna, and they are writing commentaries. So their commentaries are like cloud. So that cloud will cover the sun. Correct, no? So now Gita is as shines as sun, no? So Gita is pure. All the words of Krishna is pure. But then if somebody is trying to approach through non-bona fide commentary, then why is not getting benefited? Because that non-bona fide commentary becomes like a cloud. And then you cannot access the real import of Bhagavad Gita. So that is the problem. That's why Srila Prabhupada would say that when he came to West, so many Bhagavad Gita copies were lying in libraries. But hardly anybody was becoming devotee. People are going on with their own material life and sinful life. And Gita also is lying. And the many people who are scholarly, they are reading Gita, they are writing Gita, so many things they are doing. But they're not getting benefited. They're not becoming devotees. Because their interpretations, the commentaries are actually not as per the real spirit of Bhagavad Gita. They are not telling the conclusions of Bhagavad Gita. The people simply write for their own, fulfillment. They have their own speculation and they have their own agendas. For that purpose only they write. So they don't want to repeat what Krishna wants to say. What Krishna is intending, that they don't tell. So because they don't understand Krishna, they're not devotees. So only devotees understand the heart of the Lord. And they only have the authority to write about Krishna. Like for example, I'll tell you, let's say Neeraj Prabhu is here. So now let's say I have to know about Neeraj Prabhu. So who is the best person to ask? Will I go to some panwala in India, in Prayagraj, my hometown, and I'll ask, tell me about Neeraj Prabhu who is staying in Boston. What he will know? Correct? He can't know anything. But who would be the best person to know about him? Let's say I want to know about Neeraj Prabhu more. So maybe he's a dear son, because he is loving. He knows maybe the heart of, or maybe the Mataji, his wife, good wife, may tell, okay, Neeraj Prabhu is disciplined in his life or whatever. He is so whatever so somebody who is dear to him, somebody who is close to him, correct? Somebody who understands him, that person can tell about him. Even if a person is appointed there, to find out about Neeraj Prabhu, and this person doesn't have much affection, doesn't have any affection, doesn't have any that kind of love and respect for Neeraj Prabhu. Even if he wants to understand his activities, he won't understand much. Maybe he may misunderstand because the culturally things may be different and all that. He may not understand properly. But somebody who has love and affection can clearly understand the person. Correct, no? Just like child is understood. I mean, mother knows the child very nicely, quite nicely. Even if child has certain kind of idiosyncrasies or something like that, but mother knows exactly why this fellow is behaving by all that. She knows. He won't judge. The same way, the devotee of the Lord, they know about the Lord. So who is the right person to understand, from whom we should understand Bhagavad Gita? From devotees. Very simple. Correct, no? Because they are not having any agenda. They simply want to serve Krishna and glorify Krishna. So they will tell Krishna as it is. But there are people who are simply interested in just enjoying the opulences of Krishna, Krishna's energy. So they want to enjoy Krishna's energy. They are materialist, or they have their own agendas. They don't have faith in Krishna, and then they want to write Gita. So that commentary will never be helpful. So that's why he's saying, for understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality Godhead, the pure and transcendental personality, this chapter is really very beneficial. So Prabhupada says at least theoretically one should accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality Godhead, and then one can begin understanding Bhagavad Gita. And Gita should be understood only by devotees. Under the guidance of bona fide devotees, only one should try to understand Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, as I said, it will be like a cloud. Other non-bona fide commentaries will be like a cloud, and then you will not understand the import of Bhagavad Gita. I'll pause here. Any reflection anybody has? We have 3 minutes. Quick reflection we can take. One point, everybody can tell just one point. Quick.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, sorry, bro.
Yeah, I think that just today I felt that association is probably one of the best things we can do for developing Krishna consciousness. Like you said, devotees to Krishna.
Yeah, so Arya is saying that association of the devotees is the very crucial thing to understand Bhagavad Gita or Krishna consciousness, to become Krishna conscious. Yes, correct. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Shastra ko hai, Lava Matra Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi hai. We need Sadhu Sangha, we need the association of bona fide devotees. That's how we become Krishna conscious. Correct. Yes, anyone else? Just one point. Some reflection, some point, what you understood from the class, anything. Even if it is repetition, also no problem. Quickly. Virat Prabhu, Mohit Prabhu, Neeraj Prabhu, Abhay Prabhu, Jacob Prabhu, Karthik Prabhu. Please, quickly, one point.
I reflect in that it's important to understand who you are listening the Bhagavad Gita and information the Bhagavad Gita from. Uh, I like the fact that the paragraph differentiated between like scholarly people and devotees of the Lord, and how the scholarly people might take the information one way, whereas the devotees of the Lord will give you information in a bona fide way. So I like that. I like that one.
Yeah, correct. Jacob is saying it is an interesting thing that devotees know the Lord best, but uh, that's directly related to Bhavita 10.11. He's saying. Okay, great. Yeah, devotees know the Lord. Yes. Mohit Prabhu, Neeraj Prabhu. Yes, Mohit Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah. I also have a similar reflection. Like we can always read Bhagavad Gita on our own, but we will not understand it truly on our own. We need to understand it through the lens of a devotee, somebody who understands Krishna much better. Like we will again approach it from a scholarly lens and not from the right lens. We will not understand the nuance.
Just by learning Sanskrit, you cannot understand Gita. Correct. Becoming a scholar, now I understand. There are people who have memorized all the verses of Gita, but they're not devotees. They don't chant Krishna's name. You'll be surprised to know that. There are people like that. There are people who have done degrees on Gita, but they're not devotees. They have done PhD on Bhagavad Gita, on Bhagavatam, or whatever the scriptures, but they're not devotees because they do it in academic way. They don't have devotion for the Lord. It's amazing. Yes, Neeraj Prabhu, want to share any one point?
No, I've had this kind of discussions before with multiple people. They all believe logic, and if you go back and even if you go listen to some of the even a lot of the esteemed scholars will eventually end and say that there is God. They just have to now take the one next additional step and say there is Krishna. So that at least they come to there is God. You go listen to Einstein, you listen to Tesla, you listen to whoever it is. All of these people eventually have concluded that you cannot go through your scientific discovery and not understand that there is God. But that is still the first step. They now have to make that one more jump and try and understand Krishna. But it is very interesting to see, and I've had these discussions, multiple discussions before.
Very nice.
And I know it's too late in the morning, but logic I can explain. One of my teachers used the example of logic. Logic can tie you up in knots very quickly. Within a second, we can tie you up in a knot, and you will not understand which way to come out. But it is logic, and logic brings you back to nothing.
Correct. Actually, we may use logic to understand Krishna, but actually, that is only. But Krishna is not subjected to any logic. Actually, I mean,
No. I mean, like I said, even when we started on this journey several years ago, and trying to understand the Gita, one the person who was teaching us used to tell us, submit through your intelligence. Don't submit your intelligence. You have to use your intelligence to submit.
correct.
Don't blindly accept. Don't.
Correct.
This is not a cult. This is not a crazy gathering of crazy people who like to jump and dance and eat. That is not what this is all about. It is you have to understand why they are doing it, and use your intelligence. Don't submit your intelligence to understand this.
Correct. Yes, that is true. That is true. At the same time, as you are mentioning earlier, that the logic and all is just to assist, us to sometimes be able to comprehend something. But no, it's not like we have to fully depend on our logic to comprehend Krishna, because one of the aspect of Krishna is inconceivable. God is inconceivable also. So the way to understand Lord is to submit, But as you said, submitting not blindly, but with reasonable faith. There's a blind faith and there is reasonable faith. So reasonable faith means bona fide disciple succession. When we submit to that, then we can understand like that. So it's an interesting topic actually. Like I'll tell you one small example. It's late, but that's quickly I'll tell you. So there was one lady in the village. So she never had the experience of city life. So once she went to one city, and then she told, I want some cloth. And the shopkeeper told, okay, how much cloth you want? And then she said, how much cloth? She never had any understanding of how much cloth means what. Cloth means I have to wear the cloth. But he actually brought the cloth, it has to be stitched and all. So she did not understand. She said, okay, I have lota. My lota is there. Okay, give me 3 lotas of cloth then. That's the only thing I have. Then this fellow said, I cannot give you the lota. There is another instrument which has to be. No, you have to give me from a lota only. Tell me, because you may be cheating. So the point is what that devotee was sharing. He was saying that so we have our own logics based on our own limited mind, and we may want limited brain, and we may want to comprehend God through that only. We are attached to it. So we may not understand that the aspects of inconceivable potencies of the Lord. So that then becomes a challenge. So only depending upon the strength of our mind and senses, we'll not be able to approach absolute truth like that. So then how to approach? The way to approach is that yes, you use the intelligence to find out the bona fide source. That you should use your intelligence for. But after you find the bona fide source, then you shouldn't keep doubting about all the aspects of the truth what is being given, because then you have to submit to that bona fide authority, and then by dint of your submission, then gradually things can get revealed more and more, like that it is. So intelligence should be used to discriminate between what is bona fide and not bona fide. Once you get it, once you understand the bona fide source, then you should submit. Like say you accept your mother as a bona fide authority to tell who's father, but after that you cannot keep suspecting. Then you have to have faith. Then you cannot put so much of logic over there. Then you have to have faith that yes, this is my father. And then, but you can see also your father has love and care, is protecting and all that. Okay, is it correct, Neeraj Prabhu? Am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And Jacob who told, Abhay who told. Okay, fine, let's pause here. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna.
Jai God Bhakti Nikita. Jai God Bhakti.